Welcome to a pod of Wings and Filth, where two voracious fantasy readers dive into the magical, gritty, and sometimes downright filthy world of fantasy.
This podcast, we chat about our favorite fantasy books, from dragons and magic to the dark and twisted corners of fantastical realms.
I'm Morgan, and not every book needs a happy ending.
And I'm Heather, and Politico and court intrigue gives me anxiety and profound stomach cramps, but I still can't get enough of it.
We've got a lot of opinions, a lot of passion, and even more books to talk about. So grab your favorite brew, maybe a magical artifact or two, and join us as we get into all things magic, wings, and a little bit of filth.
Content warning. Expect spice, swearing, spoilers, and strong opinions on dubious character choices. This is an adult show meant to discuss adult things, unfiltered for an adult audience. Today's episode will contain spoilers for all of the Songbird and the Heart of Stone. So if you're not ready for unhinged fandom energy, turn back now. Otherwise, spread your wings, grow your horns, and let's get filthy. Hello, Morgan. My goodness.
Yeah. How you feeling about this one?
I have so many things that I can't wait to ask you about. So many things. I forgot how good the center of this is.
It is.
My God.
I forgot the rhythm of this is so different than the first duet, the Nightborn duet. Again, as a reminder, we did in our spoiler warning, spoilers for all of Songbird. We are also assuming you wouldn't be here if you hadn't read the Nightborn duet. So also spoilers for those two, but mostly spoilers for this.
Yes. Oh, like you said, the rhythm is different.
Mm-hmm.
The whole tone is different. The only thing that is a real big connective tissue for me is the style of writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's you can tell it's Carissa, but
you can tell it's Carissa.
Aside from that, we are in a totally different world, which is great because we are going deeper and deeper and deeper into this very dark underworld.
It is also somehow darker.
Every level, I'm like, it can't get worse.
You think it can't get darker. And she's like, hold my beer.
Totally and completely. All right. So let's give everybody your beautiful summary and update them on exactly what we are going to be digging into today.
All right, here we go. Part 3, Breath, throws the gang into a sanctum that's basically a haunted wind tunnel of trauma, ghosts, and emotional damage. The deeper they go, the more their bodies decay and their pasts claw to the surface. Like Asar's dead lover, who's apparently decided to haunt the group therapy session. Mische is still struggling to balance her sunborn and shadowborn sides when she and Asar find Aomen's spirit, her old human friend, and Asar shockingly helps him move on with actual compassion. Between soul eater attacks and emotional meltdowns, Mische finally channels both her light and shadow magic in harmony, blasting through the sanctum and claiming Alaruz's relic. The victory's bittersweet, though, because now she's terrifyingly powerful and even more confused about the brooding Wraith Warden who keeps saving her life. Part 4, Psyche, is divine therapy hour, where the walls whisper regrets and everyone's trauma gets a cameo. Elias decides to speedrun betrayal conveniently right as Asar's new airmark glows to announce that the king is dead and the throne is his. The sanctum forces Mische to face her sister's death and shattered faith, while Asar relives centuries of loss and betrayal. Honestly, it's shocking he's still semi-functional. Now a reluctant heir and emotional disaster, Asar fights Ophelia, while Mische battles the light for another relic, both unraveling fast. They stumble out half dead and find an impossibly normal cottage owned by Esme, the previous Wraith Warden, who offers a rare dose of calm and enough romantic tension between Mische and Asar to make even the gods blush. Part 5, Secrets, kicks off with Mische and Asar barely escaping Ophelia's wraith attack on Esme's cottage, tumbling straight into a landscape that's half nightmare, half emotional autopsy. Battered and bleeding, Misha's forced to drink from a living being for the first time, and when Asar drinks from her in return, the shared rush of power and pleasure feels like her last thread of loyalty to Atroxus, snapping clean in two. As they stumble through the sanctum, every step drags their guilt and grief to the surface, complete with wraithly cameos from Psyche and Malach, because apparently the underworld loves a painful encore. Between the blood, the trauma, and the divine gaslighting, they find one fleeting moment of peace and passion on an altar that's equal parts sacred and scandalous. But Misha's first taste of Atroxus's wrath crashes down soon after, burning through her faith and leaving only fury in its place. The girl who once prayed to the sun god now looks ready to burn him down herself. Her self-sacrificing nature is the only remaining barrier between her and her own damnation.
So much pain. That is how I would just what happens. That's what happens. That's how I would describe this. It's just the pain escalates each and every level. And I think on the last episode when we talked about this, we were saying how it's scary, but not in a like typical horror way. And even the monsters are scary because of what they represent, not necessarily because of what they are. It is like the nightmares that we have and haunt us in our dreams,
Yeah,
except
the
that they are
soul
real.
eaters aren't scary because they look like big scary monster. I mean, they do look like big scary reptiles or whatever. But then they open their mouths and it's not sharp teeth, it's just gaping nothingness.
The void, yeah.
The void, right? Like the fear of being basically blinked out of existence.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I keep getting lost in each level as we go too. And I feel like this could be like they could be their own individual stories.
Yeah.
You could have made
I
an
had that
entire
thought.
series, really?
I think each part could be its own like novella. You could make an
Yeah.
entire novella about each sanctum of this. Like, and she packs so much detail, but not in a like heavy world building way. I don't even quite understand how she does it. There's so
Agree.
much detail in each level, in each sanctum, and I can imagine it quite perfectly. Especially breath, the sand is everywhere. It's hot. You can just like feel the oppressiveness of it. But I don't feel like I'm wading through big world building. It just feels like I'm like devour. I want more. I want more.
Yeah. I feel like she gives really, really good clues that kind of instigates your own brain to do its job. And like you said, I don't know how she does it either, but she does do it. Because for me, I'm visualizing this fully cinematically. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
to Adam a lot more about reading books without any pictures or visual cues. He's
Mm.
starting to move more into those. He has read some, but not a lot. And I'm always asking him, "What do you see?" And then
Yeah.
I'll tell him the things that I see and the way my brain kind of does it. And I was explaining to him how some authors do a really, really good job of this. They present the world so we can imagine it with our own minds. And Carissa does it beautifully anyway. But this, like the blood rivers that are above them,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. In some of the sanctums, the description is right that the spires of the temple are poking into the blood rivers above. And you're like, I don't understand how that could happen, but also I can imagine it perfectly. Sometimes authors give us all of the detail and all of the imagery, and it slows us down. And that's
Mhm.
okay. Sometimes you just need a big dump to understand where you are. I think of the beginning of Crescent City 1 as a really good example of this. Those are a heavy first 100 pages to know the world, but they're so necessary. Rissa just doesn't do that. It's all integrated. It's all a part of what's happening with the plot, what's happening as we move forward. So it doesn't slow us down the same way.
No, no. I think partly too is because we are seeing the world as it's observed from the character's point of view. And as they're observing it, there's still action that's happening. Even if it's not like big action, there's movement or intention or something. So it doesn't feel stagnant. I say a really good example of two, at least from my opinion, and I know that I stand here on a hill. It's a hot take. I think Robert Jordan did a terrible job of that. His writing is nice. He has great descriptive writing, but I feel like my feet are in cement
Right.
when I'm
You're like
listening to
slogging through it.
yeah, I get what the trees look like. Can you give me something else here? And yeah, and it's not for
Give
me.
me a reason to care about the trees,
Yes.
right? Like, give me a reason to give a fuck. And I understand you probably will in time, but like, that's one of the things I just love about Carissa. I often have a hard time describing to people why they need to read Carissa. And I think this is where I think we're touching on it, where it's like, it's just so beautifully well done. It feels like a fever dream when you're in it. And at the end, you're like, what happened? But also, I know I went on this beautiful fucking journey. My heart was ripped out through my mouth. Like, and I want more. Give me more because I'm a sadist, apparently. Like, it's just incredible. The beginning of Breath is one of the first moments. I mean, honestly, the journey over these three parts in particular, I think are the journey of Mische and Asar falling in love.
Great.
And Breath is the beginning. In the first two parts, we really got these like tiny little inklings. He's intrigued by her. He's this kind of stoic guy. You don't really understand a lot about him. And these parts are where that really gets fleshed out in the most beautiful way. I love it. I love it so much.
And I love that it happens organically, but I think that is
Mm-mm.
also just a testament to the way she tells stories, but also her style of writing, which the prose is just beautiful. The language she uses is gorgeous. It's
Mhm.
absolutely stunning. I get lost in the words all the time. Ooh, goosebumps, goosebumps. So when you write like that,
Mhm.
everything becomes a bit more meaningful and heavy in a good way. And I think that with Asar and Misha, that's where they really start to kind of build between each other. And I love too that she obviously looks at him. He's the perfect guy to fix up. She doesn't have to deal with some. This guy has got loads of problems, loads of baggage.
We joke it a lot when we talk about a lot of these romanticy stories. We have talked a lot about self-sacrifice. Misha is the ultimate self-sacrificer, but also with her religious sect, with like her actual upbringing, the concept of saving someone else wasn't self-sacrificial. It was just what you did. That was the goal. That was what we did. We brought people to the light. And so, yeah, she sees Asar and she goes, well, yeah, I can do this. I can take on this project. And it's like, no, babe, you don't have to fix everyone you come across.
I think that's like inert in her too anyway. So it's part of who she is, but also part of who she's, like you said, been taught and groomed to be.
Mhm.
But she also
Mhm.
uses that as a shield, so she doesn't have to
Yeah.
deal with her own stuff. I mean, there's just so many layers of it, which is why I think, like you said, she's probably one of the biggest martyr types that I've read in most of these books. And I don't know if it's in Breath or Psyche where she says to Asar, and she's like, "Yes, I am happy and giddy. Do you think that means I don't feel these things? I do. I
Right.
choose to be this way." And I was like,
Mhm.
"I get
Yeah.
it, girl. I get it. I get it. But you
There
see it.
are
All right, come
there
on
are
now."
even a couple of moments, I think in Breath, where she's interacting with Chandra, like the other Dawnbreaker human, and she talks about putting on the mask of, I need to be the ever optimist. I need to be bubbly and happy. I need to put it on. And so those are the first inklings you get that she does know. She knows she does it. She knows. She's aware. She's choosing it. And that's okay, right? Like the coping skill is working enough in this moment. As we go deeper into the different levels of this descent, it stops working. And that's okay as well, right? I was thinking about it as well, that as she goes down the levels of the descent basically into hell, into the underworld, that she is getting farther and farther away, like metaphorically farther and farther away from the sun.
Son. So I love when authors do the contrast of light and darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we see in storytelling that, there's the light side. Like most drastically, we see it in Star Wars. But even Star Wars sits there and says, no, 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 there isn't just light. There isn't just dark. That's the problem. There is a lot of in between. There really is. And that is the problem with any kind of extremist point of view. Usually there is no hard left or hard right. There's usually mostly gray. And this in particular, she is a child of the sun god. And
A
she
child and a chosen bride of, right? Like she was offered even a level above all of the other
yes,
acolytes.
yes. And I think in this one too, I really, really started to grasp a little bit more how conflicting this is for her.
Yeah.
But on the other side, she's also a shadowborn vampire, which
An
is
incredibly powerful one. She was made by a shadowborn prince. She has immense shadowborn power.
but she wants to deny that part of herself, which there
Yeah.
are so many layers to unpack with that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where she starts to see that maybe all of that darkness and the shadow and this other side of her isn't all bad because she sees the good in Asar.
Right. Well, and it's interesting too, right? She has such love for Rain. She has such love for Araya, and they're vampire. Like she knows she can love them. And this is also the conflict of why she came to Obitrays, right? Like she came to save the vampires to see if she could turn any of them to the light because she believes that everyone's capable of saving, which actually is a beautiful thought that everyone has something redeemable in them.
I do
I
too.
agree with her in that. I think everyone has good inside of them, has parts of them that are capable of being shown the light, whatever that light is to them, which I do believe she believes. It's not just the love of this specific God. And a lot of people see that as her naivete. And really, especially through these parts, I think it's on the page that it's just the goodness in her. Like it is truly just, that is just her being her. That's not naive. It's actually really true.
Yeah. And because of her demeanor too, it's not taken as seriously because she
Yeah,
does
we
come
don't
other way.
take bubbly girls seriously.
No, why would you? For those of you just listening to the audio, we've got snarls on our face ready to bite. It's very frustrating.
The misogyny of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's not necessarily fully fleshed out, but it's for sure there. The
Yeah.
ways that she has learned to put this mask on, both because parts of it are her, they feel authentic and true. And then parts she has learned that if I am this bubbly, forcefully optimistic, part of me more loudly and more clearly to everyone around me, they will either dismiss me as bubbly, silly girl, and then they won't look at as close.
These characters are so freaking real.
Mm-hmm.
Like these feel like real, like existing people. And we are in the levels of hell.
Right. We're descending the
Vampires.
levels of the underworld with
Yeah.
vampires and
magic.
sun gods and death gods and soul eaters.
So in Breath,
Mhm.
we continue to see people that they knew.
Yeah.
And with each interlude, which is at the beginning of each part, just like the Nightborn duet, we
Mhm.
are getting more pieces of our sweet Misha's backstory and learning how
Yeah.
she came to be where she is now. And in this one, we get a bit more about Aomen.
Yeah. Her human friend. This one is the moment that she realizes that even though the sect of the Deathless Dawn, while they don't as a whole have a chastity vow, her as a specifically bride of Atroxus, it is expected that she is
Chase.
faithful, chaste only to him. And I will admit this interlude really pissed me off.
Uh-huh.
But also, I think a lot of the real distinct views of her grooming piss me off.
Exactly.
Because it's really hard to read a child being groomed on page. But the thing that pissed me off the most was that no one really told her. No one actually sat her down and said, hey, this is what that means. And so in this interlude, I read her as maybe 14. So she has not been officially gifted. She
Yeah.
has vowed to Atroxus. But their first consummation doesn't happen until she's 16.
Yeah, because that's an appropriate age.
Apparently, that's the one we've chosen. In this interlude, though, I think she's a little bit younger than that.
Yeah, right where you're starting to get those feelings and you're starting to switch a little bit from transition from child to not adult, but curiosity about these adult things that we are growing into.
Absolutely. And the description of this experience with Aomen, I mean, he's just another teenage boy in the church.
And he's a church boy. That's the other thing. He's not
also
just
a
some
church
random
boy,
kid. Yeah.
And it's just it's so innocent. It is so pure. They're talking about the brush of an elbow.
Yep.
She's looking at his lips and wondering what they would feel like. We have not crossed any real physical line of any kind. Her sister barges in the room. Aomen scampers off. And this is her sister's first, no, you don't get to do that. Everyone else does, but you don't. And look at all the beautiful things your commitment to Atroxus has given us: safety, security, food, shelter, water, love, care, purpose, even. But you don't get to do that. This is that sacrifice. And it's the crashing down for Misha. There's even a literal at the end of the interlude. She walks to the edge of the church grounds, and there's a fence around the church grounds. She's allowed to leave. She's not actually trapped in. But it literally, she holds on to the bars and pushes. And I was like, oh man, yeah, we are pushing the bars of your cage, huh?
Yep.
Oh, there it is right there on the page.
This is your reality and there are no choices. Or convincing you there are no choices, but it's also so good for you.
And I think this is where the child grooming comes in the loudest for me. Yeah, when you offer an 8-year-old who has been starving and poor and truly like scraping by. She's watched her sister Seisha. They talk about
Prostitute
she
herself.
prostitutes
Yeah.
herself, right? Like to survive. And you come in and you say, I will give you safety, security, love, food, water, shelter, your basic needs for this undying, constant devotion and faithfulness and loyalty. But you have to give it all, basically. I don't know any 8-year-olds that would say no to that
No, I don't know
or are
many
capable.
adults. Yeah, I don't know many adults that would. Most people, I mean, that is one of our most primal things that we need. Food and
Yeah.
safety. Those
Yeah.
things.
It's the
Those are the
baseline of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
exactly. Exactly. So of course, her sister even feels that way. That's why I say with, you know, some of the stuff because her sister did ultimately give her.
Yeah.
She gave her away to the church. That's what she did. She didn't do it with bad intentions either, though. She 100% believed, at least from what I interpreted from what was on the page, was her
Mhm.
sister believed that this was the best option for them. And after what they've been through, I can't blame her either.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that's also a really interesting piece. We get a little inkling of it in the first two parts, but we definitely get it more in parts 3, 4, and 5, is we come to know that Seisha wanted to be the chosen. She originally put herself forth to be offered as a bride, as a potential bride of Atroxus. She did all the things right. She was incredibly devout. She tried to sacrifice herself in that way. But at the end of the day, these gods are fickle. They are gross and power hungry. And
Yeah. They like to
oh my,
fuck with people.
holy shit. Yeah, they do. He didn't choose Seisha. He chose Misha. And so I even look at Seisha's journey and really devastating, horrifying
Yeah.
ending. And I see the attempt to save Misha in that, right? Like she was trying to do the right thing. She actually really was, and was curbed at the last second and had to make an impossible decision.
Yeah. Because oftentimes for people, there are no good choices.
Right.
You have to
Right.
make the best of bad choices. And that is
Exactly.
so much of life. And it's a lesson that I don't feel like small children should have to learn.
No, in a perfect world, they would never, right?
No, no, not a should I have food and safety? Or should I, have autonomy over who I am and freedom?
A
What?
little close to home right here in November
Yeah. Yes.
2025. We won't touch on that too much, but just know we're all thinking about it. We are living it. It's, some of these stories are timeless for a
Yes.
reason,
Well,
unfortunately.
well, they are there because of things that have already happened in the past, and a lot of them are, hey, let's not do this again. Let's not do this again. That's why storytellers are the first to get shut up when you have regimes that do not want anybody to do exactly what Atroxus was trying to do. Stop thinking for yourself. Follow
Exactly.
follow my
Just,
rules. Don't
yeah.
question me. Don't you dare question me or you will be punished. No food. No food for you. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's all there. But yeah, we'll do our best to not get. Also, these stories are political and we're going to talk about it. So we also, in Breath, we don't get her name until part 4, but we're going to call her Ophelia because we know her as Ophelia.
As I've listened to the audiobook, which, oh my God, it's so good.
It's so
Listen
good.
to the audiobook for sure.
We meet Ophelia for the first time in Breath. Misha is like clocked onto it immediately. She's like, who the fuck is this? Clearly she is someone to Asar. There's absolutely no like jealousy happening for Misha because we're not even remotely there in the story. But she just sees it as this like heart-wrenching pain that this is someone who was close to Asar in life and has not been able to pass on. But she also gets the sense she's not really a wraith. Like she's not. She's
Because
this
she's
like,
different.
yeah, she's this like in between. She doesn't have any life really in her. She is dead. And we come to find out much later that actually it was this like botched resurrection that has caused this like horrific tainting. It's so
Yeah.
fucking sad.
And too, this is a really cool concept. I've seen it done. I've seen it done on the show Supernatural, but I can't think of anywhere else I've seen it done, and I really like the idea of it too. It's that, whatever level, what you want to call them, spirits, whatever, those kinds of things, the longer that you are in that in between, in that limbo, in that purgatory, your soul and your spirit and your consciousness is, the longer that you're
Yeah.
tortured. So you're going to go crazier and crazier, and you're going to lose who you were anyway by the end of it. And that's what happens with like the ghosts and supernatural.
Mhm.
I love the way that she does it here too, which I mean is what
Yeah.
happens with Ophelia. We already have the complications of how she got to be where she is, and Asar trying to. Asar is so much like Misha in that way, though, where he's constantly trying to save everyone.
They are so similar. I'm glad you brought that up. I have been thinking about that every time we read this, and every time I reread this, I come back and more, even though he is her polar opposite in terms of disposition, right? He's so stoic. He's a brooder. Broody and grumpy don't quite feel right. Right. They don't feel full enough
Yeah,
to describe.
I don't want to call him grumpy. He's not grumpy.
He's not grumpy because he's not grumpy in like a "oh, you stepped on my lawn" kind of grumpy. Like he's just so reserved. He is so quiet. He's so stoic. She really comes to love his like attention to detail, and he's so meticulous. And I think that really shows in this too. But yeah, in terms of disposition, Asar and Misha are two sides of the same coin, but complete opposite sides of the same coin. But in this, you're like, wait, actually, y'all are the same. Y'all have the same self-sacrificing nature and bullshit wrapped up around your ego. Like, he has to try and save her, Ophelia. And we really get the details of that more when we go into Psyche, which is more about memory. I think that was something I really loved, was the distinction between Psyche and secrets, because they
Yes.
sound like they could be the same, right?
But they're not.
Psyche is more just about memory, whereas secrets was way more about like shame and emotion.
Yeah. This is like a whole like twisted freaking dream sequence too,
Mm-hmm.
which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love this stuff. It isn't something that you can grasp onto. And if you're trying to sort out what it all looks like, you're not going to enjoy it at all. You need to just kind of sit there and absorb what's happening and watch or listen or read because it's so abstract.
Right. But the abstract of it is part of its beauty, right?
Yes.
Like it allows you to fill in the blanks. And really, they're not blanks, but they're just like fully curated. Like, here you go, put your own on it. But yeah, we also learn as we transport a little bit into the beginnings of part 4 and the beginnings of Psyche that maybe Elias and Chandra are starting to get tired of the journey.
Yeah, they're not particularly clever at all. In fact, Asar at some point was kind of like about Elias. He's like, I just really didn't think about him that much because I didn't think he was that smart. I'm pretty sure in the last episode we were talking about it too. We're like, he's kind of just a swing first with the sword, ask questions later kind of guy. Pick things up and put them down kind of guy. Like, is he just supposed to be like kind of the comic relief guy a little bit? Maybe. But
I mean, I guess having someone do I'm going to poke you with the sword first and ask questions later does help us develop our understanding of how ethereal this world is. That these are not so physical and so tangible. They are just as dangerous, but it's not like that, man.
No, he's way, way out of his depth. And
Mhm.
in 3, in Breath, and then more so at the beginning of Psyche, that's when both Asar and Misha have definitely started to solidify their bond working together. They have a common goal, even though Misha is still sitting there at the back of the going, no, I'm going to deal with my betrayal later. In the meantime, I'm going to help and do everything that I can now. So she keeps doing that, and it comes back more as these 3 sections go on. But it starts off as still, it's just, it's in the back of my head. And she's
It's
like,
just a thing I can't deal with yet.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
I get it.
I get it.
I do.
I get it. I empathize with it. And I
Yeah.
don't know how I could have done anything differently.
No.
Like, she knows that if she had said no to Atroxus's secret betrayal plan, she would have died.
Yep.
He would have killed her.
Yep.
Period. End of story.
She doesn't have a lot of choices. She makes it seem like these are her choices for herself, so it's more comfortable.
I think that's how she has had to understand her, again, grooming, right? Like she has had to understand it that way to protect the parts of her that know that she didn't have those choices and are terrified and in great amounts of pain because of it. Because it's hard for an adult mind to wrap around, let alone a kid's. But yeah, this is where we start to get truly the like bumping up against her adult self who knows no, and her kid self who says, I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could say until probably I'm 44 now. I am 44
Mhm.
years old. And I would say until my mid 30s, I still was questioning myself going, my parents would be unhappy if I made those choices. And these are not like things that I let influence make my decisions, but those voices in the back of my head were still there going, hey, wait a minute. Did you consider this, bitch? No, I don't want to consider that anymore. I'm a grown ass woman and I will make my own choices. The thing is that we've all experienced this in some way, shape, or form because
Mhm.
most of us have grown up in houses with parents, guardians, or somebody who's influenced the way that we see the world as children. That's just how it
Mhm.
works. It's how it
That's
works
just how it works, unfortunately.
for good or bad. In some cases, it's
Exactly.
very good. In some cases, it's like Misha. So
Mhm.
for her to do that and still have that and struggle with it, that is so human. It is such a human thing for our vampire to
Mhm.
be going
Well, that's
through.
her whole thing is she wants to hold on to her humanity so desperately. And
I think that's another reason she doesn't want to touch that shadow magic.
it is the interesting part of it, though, is because she has shoved that away so far, when she finally touches on it, which it really happens at the end of Breath for the first time, and then it really starts to develop in part 4 and part 5 in Psyche and in Secrets. When she finally starts to let that shadow power be present and like live in her, that's when she touches into her humanity more because
Yeah.
she's not ignoring those parts of her that need to be seen.
No, there's so much here, everybody. There is just so much. I swear,
It's so
Morgan and I
good.
could be here all day talking about this.
All day,
All day.
easily. Yeah, so the beginning of Psyche starts, and a giant strike of lightning comes and hits Asar, and he does not die from this. Instead, he is bequeathed an air mark. The king has died. His air marks are on his arm, and I've loved the descriptions of them.
Yep. I'm in. Misha starts to see that too. That's another sign that she's really starting to like him is we're seeing more. She's starting to acknowledge that his scars are not, she's not sad that they're covering, it's all covering things up and he's been marred. She's like, no, they're
Yeah,
beautiful. She starts to see
they're
them as
beautiful.
they are, just like
Hmm.
hers.
Exactly. Exactly.
They wear their scars on the outside.
So Elias, the air mark finally happens and goes, fucking finally, and stabs Asar in the side.
Yeah. 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 Maybe thinking that she would end up with the air mark. And if she didn't, then he would take care of Asar and it would show up on her. She'd be like, look, it was me all along. Oh no, they
Exactly.
were in the underworld. What could have happened? Bad things. It's the underworld
Right.
after all. Plausible deniability.
Exactly. And so he stabs him and basically chucks him over the side of a cliff into a giant pool of blood. So he assumes that Asar is dead, and they're trying to convince Misha to come with. And she's trying to save Chandra and realizes, oh, fuck, Chandra's been in on this. And she's like, let's go back to the surface. And she's like, wait, what? So she drops off the side of the cliff too into the pool. She chooses Asar. And we are immediately deep into her own memories of being at the Citadel. I know you and I have talked about liking really like cerebral, mental, fuckery imagery stuff, amnesia tropes, things like that, mind melding. This all feels like it's in that where she's starting to notice like, wait, like that's not quite how that memory happened, or that's not quite what that person said, or we turned right instead of left.
Yeah, just the
And we would have
the
normally.
subtle little things instead of making it huge or like obvious, which it does multiple things too. Number one, it says, look how intelligent Misha is. She
Mhm.
notices these little things. She's very aware of them. It's also a nod to the reader being smart enough to understand what those things mean. But secondly, that is kind of how dreams often feel. I think for the most part, we typically dream in places that we've already been
Mm.
for places. A lot of people tell me they dream about their childhood homes or like your elementary school and things like that. But everything's always slightly
Mhm.
off. So there's that right away. But they're already in crazy town. So for her to be so aware is really cool.
So she breaks through the walls of the memories, realizing they're being forced on her by the sanctum. And she reaches for Asar and gets thrust into his memories. And I loved it. I mean, his memories are really sad and really traumatic, and
But
we
they're
got to talk about that. But like,
terribly so. Let's be honest too. The two of them, this is what breaks down the walls between the two of them right here.
mhm,
Because on their own, neither of them would ever tell these stories or show these things, these vulnerabilities. They're the most awful moments of both of their lives.
which makes me really sad, right? Like, this is the nature of their pain and the way they've learned to be in the world is that they can never share those things.
Oh, these two. Oh my God. Actually,
Yeah, truly. They
yeah,
are so traumatized. I mean, that's why like the jokes in all my summaries about this being a giant therapy session. She gets to see what happened with Ophelia, that he fell in love with her in actually like a very natural, I hate to say normal, but like
it is so.
kind of a normal way. Like they met each other at
It's like the
vampire
highlight reel.
parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. They recognized each other's ambition because at the time he was still trying to impress the king and really trying to like be the best potential heir who's actually been chosen. And then, of course, his brother ruins all of that. And that's when he tortures and murders Ophelia, potentially with Elias present.
Or participating.
Yeah. And right as she sees that memory of the torture. She sees the memory of Asar trying to resurrect her. We also get Lucy's resurrection memory in there, but Mische gets pulled out right as she sees sort of the finale of Ophelia. He tries to resurrect her after she's been tortured, and he botches it. He fucks it up real bad. And this is the moment where he gets his scars, where his eye turns white and he sort of has to shove her back into the underworld, and death tried to reach him kind of thing.
It's using magic he shouldn't have been using because it harms him. Just like
Yeah.
someone else who uses fire magic that harms her.
You got it.
Yeah. It's like, my gosh, it's so beautiful. But again, it's like such a clever way to present this to us without having to sacrifice the growth of the characters or doing something that would be unnatural to them. We've talked about this before too, telling the truth, what the characters would do, what the story would do. If the characters wouldn't do something, I am no longer going to trust you in your storytelling.
Yeah.
I would not believe if at this part in the story that he would give her his whole life story and the truth about Ophelia. This is a way that we can get through that. It explains what this level is, which makes total sense being here and existing.
Mhm.
And it gives this connection between the two of them. We do need that progression at this point.
Right. So Chandra pulls her out of the pool, thinking Mische had just fallen off the cliff, not that she chose Asar. She misunderstands that. And when Mische touches her, she gets some of Chandra's memories. And we find out the fucked up things that Chandra has done. And I want to get into this. And I
Yeah.
want to trigger warning the fuck out of this exploration. And I don't even know how. Trigger warning for infant death, trigger warning for infant murder. Fast forward a couple minutes ahead if you don't want to listen to this, because we find out that Chandra's sins are that she had been taken away by the vampires into Obitres as a midwife, and because
It's very difficult to give birth to a
vampire
baby.
birth is very traumatic, and so she is brought again against her will. I'm not gonna put that inappropriately. Like, that's true. She's brought against her will to be a midwife for these vampire mothers, and she makes the choice as a member of the sect of Deathless Dawn, that will, I don't even want to say it, man, but she kills the babies. She makes it look
Like an accident, like they didn't survive.
but she really believes she's doing the right thing.
Oh,
She
yeah.
is purging the world of these tainted, horrific beings, vampires, even though these are ones that are being brought into the world through birth. They're not being turned.
Yeah, it's not against their will. They're born with a clean slate unless you have religion in your heart that tells you they're not.
Right.
This is the complication of this is such a big question about morality and religion is, maybe it can be lovely, but also if your religion tells you that murdering babies is the answer, then maybe you should question it.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting piece is she realizes that Mische has seen this memory, right? Like, she understands that they have shared this, and she immediately assumes that Mische is on her side and understands why she did this. And Mische is not. And basically, she ends up letting the soul eaters
Get her.
Yeah. Which is an interesting trait, right? We're talking about these sins, and I'm curious how you feel about Mische letting her die. Because I feel mixed about it. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel that she was fully justified in it. And I don't know that she needed to be.
No. Okay, let's go back to Misha, who she is as her core person.
Hmm.
She's always trying to save everyone, despite everything that she's been indoctrinated with, despite the fact that she does have this faith in Atroxus, despite everything that she knows about him and that he's done so far. She still believes in him to some degree. And she does believe in her faith still a lot. Quite a bit. Not all of it, and not all of it is bad either. Some of it is really, really lovely and wonderful. That's the thing
Hmm.
that can be so confusing in these situations. She just went through something horribly traumatic by witnessing what Asar had gone through.
Hmm.
At this point, I don't think that her heart had any more space for any more terror. I
True.
really, really don't. She
Yeah.
didn't do it herself, but with Misha, she does that herself though when she's telling herself the story she needs to get through things.
Sure.
I think in that moment, I don't know that I would have made a different choice than her. I don't know that it's the right one, but I don't know that it's wrong.
Again, I think we're confronted with, is there a right choice here?
There's two
Does
bad
that
ones.
exist? I don't think there was a right choice. So she jumps back into the pool and gets more of his memories and to try and bring him out. And it turns out at the end of the day that Lucy saves them, which is beautiful. And I fucking love that dead dog. Me too. And we find out that, Misha has committed other sins that are also horrifying. But I don't know, it would be really easy. I think it would be too simple to write a story that what Chandra did was horrific and bad, and therefore she is bad, and therefore she deserves
And
to
she
die.
did what she got. Yeah, exactly. So many stories would do that because it's easier. We talk about this a lot with Carissa in particular, is that there's not always a villain in every story. She does this better than just about anybody.
Anybody?
Just about anybody. I want to hate Chandra, especially going through my second time now. I'm like, I want to hate her. She's a monster. Like,
She's a monster. She takes on this like grandmotherly energy with Misha that feels really rude and condescending and like
yeah.
dismissive. I get that, right? Like, yeah, it would be so easy to just, I hate her. I hope she died. I got what she deserved kind of thing. But like, nah, man, that's too simple.
And the symbolism at this point, too, is she's choosing light or
Turning.
dark. She leaves her Atroxus. She leaves her sun religion, and she chooses to save the vampire. The vampire who she's supposed to be betraying eventually anyway. Yeah, she's like, nope, I'm going for him. And she doesn't, and there's really not a decision for her to make either in this. She does it instinctually. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's way more complex. I think it was intended to be that way. And I don't think that there's a good answer.
The interesting thing, of course, is that she's choosing light versus dark, but the light is just as corrupted as the dark is in this. There is the like symbolism of light versus dark, but like Chandra is not light.
No.
She murdered infants.
Yeah. Who had
literally newly born
committed no
children.
crimes, done nothing. They were just babies. I've got no words for that. I don't know how far gone you have to be to think that that's okay. I don't want to understand that, to be honest. I have no fucking desire to understand that you can justify that in your head. I can see how it happens. I believe it because it happens all the time in the world, unfortunately.
Talk about another mirror to right here, right now.
But I don't want to know. I'd like to be over here on this side where my brain is like, no. There's no time where that would ever be an acceptable thing for a
just
human to
unequivocally do. Bad.
And still, at the end of the day, we're like, well, maybe still just letting her die was not right either. That's crazy.
But then even starker contrast somehow is that the moment after this is the one we wanted to get to, where their memories start to get entangled and they have their first little sexy encounter, which feels bananas, right?
Yes,
we
it does.
Just watched a child murderer die. We're drowning in a blood pool of memories.
Blood, literally.
But it is one of the ways they realize that they're sucked into the memories and that they're not in reality is that they say each other's first names. He calls her Misha and she goes, you haven't called me Misha yet. It's so good. And she gets her first little taste of real.
He calls her Dawn Drinker. And I love that name so much. And yes, it's symbolism and we see it in books more than anything else. But I love the idea of nicknames. You don't give somebody a nickname unless there's some kind of emotional connection there. Even if it's a mean one.
Even if it's a mean one.
There's feelings there. And for those to be stripped away from both of them, that's part of their their shield that they have up. Now she's not the Dawn Drinker, she's not the Acolyte, and he's not the Wraith Warden right now. They are just Asar and Mische.
Yeah. Oh, and she gets her first true experience of what real sexual pleasure feels like.
Which we should also mention that she was very unimpressed the first time that she and Atroxus slept together. Like, this is a god.
Loved that.
The reaction
Loved that.
The reaction was, is this really what like people are all like
This is
wired
what
about?
people fight wars over?
Yeah, what? It was for that? That's what I waited for? That was it? I'm like, this is God dick, y'all. And I'm expecting like, sun coming. No. What a disappointment. But who does he have to impress? He doesn't
Who does
care.
he have to impress? And she makes many comments that what she has come to learn is that he took what he needed and that's it. And she's like, wait, I mean, it's fine. He's nice to me, but like, that's it.
Like, if there's going to be any benefit to all of this shit she has to go
I
through.
think it could be maybe some orgasms. I don't know. That feels
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. Also, wouldn't that like help with the worship and everything?
But that's the whole thing, right? Like he wants you to worship him. He doesn't ever, like that doesn't go the other way.
At some point, she even says, I don't think he even knows what my real name is. Oh my God, that broke me. But that's him. Maybe she, from the sounds of it, she's never had an orgasm.
No.
Yeah, and I don't remember specifically, so tell me if I'm mixing this up too. But she made comments about thinking about touching herself, but I don't think that she does. I don't think that she actually does.
I don't think so. Because at one point, when we get into part 5 in a minute here, when she is drinking, or when Asar is drinking her blood, and she's experiencing the pleasure and the joy of that, he moves her hand to touch herself. And I think there is a moment where she realizes, like, oh, this is what I have been missing.
That's what I thought. So she has not even done that on her own.
That the gods are disappointing in like a lot of different ways.
Yeah. And all of them. Like I said, at least show up with some fucking big dick energy or something, but no.
Think about all of the things that Mische is committed to saving through this journey. Every time they get a relic of Alarus's, they see the memory associated with that.
Yeah.
That part. And you get to see him fall in love with Nyaxia, and Mische feels incredibly moved by it.
Yeah, she starts to empathize with the enemy.
Well, with this god, she's not supposed to have anything in common with the gods. The gods are not supposed to have anything in common with humans or vampires.
No. And I think that's probably why the other gods hated not just Nyaxia and his, his need for more power, because she is obviously ambitious, but also because it was very human of them to fall in love with each other. That makes them a little bit more fallible also in that way. And unpredictable, because what won't you do? Look at everything Nyaxia has done since she lost her man. Look what she's still doing, because she's so angry. Hell hath no fury and all that shit.
Yeah, like a woman scorned, which like we say as a dismissive thing, but also it's fucking true. I actually really liked this. This felt like a really beautiful mirror between Mische and Aurea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Throughout the Nightborn duet, we get Aurea coming to terms with Nyaxia just being a heartbroken lover. She is a heartbroken woman who apparently says all the time, a dead lover can't break your heart, and will do anything to punish other people for her broken heart.
Continually, still, right now. This book exists because of it.
All of these books exist because, right?
Yeah.
And Mische, in these moments, is starting to see sort of the other side of it. But I think one of the second most romantic lines in this book, in Breath, the relic is poppy petals from the poppy field. And Mische says something beforehand. They're talking about, like, what would the relic be for breath? And Asar says something about, like, a perfect corpse is still not alive without breath. And Mische talks about, like, things that make your heart skip or make your breath catch. And so we get the poppy petals that come from this moment of him falling in love with Nyaxia in the poppy field. And it's just like, oh my God, this is so beautiful and romantic.
So romantic. And it makes you question what the real story is between the two of them and what the ultimate ending actually was. Because we have the results of Nyaxia's wrath, and we don't actually have any other point of views as to what happened.
That's true.
We have myths, we have stories, we have these little pieces we're picking up. The characters are learning, but we don't have more insight either. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't already, this is absolutely the point where you're going to start questioning whether or not all the other things that you've heard about them are true or
Right.
not true,
Are
which is
true.
where Misha does too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said,
Absolutely.
she's starting to see them as just people and she should have nothing in common with them.
Yeah, but she sure does.
She sure does.
Because they do, and they don't want to admit it. So yeah, Chandra dies in part 4. Elias, we think, escapes to the surface, maybe.
Maybe.
And we find out at the end of part 4, he has one of the petals, which is a relic of Alarusa, and they wonder what horrors he could unleash with this.
Which we already saw in the Nightborn duet. What happens? It's not good for anybody to have that kind of power. It's an icky, icky, icky power, and all it does is make monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a problem. That's a tomorrow problem.
Right.
There's
Right.
enough in front of us. But at the end here too, they get to Esme's cottage. I loved Esme. She's so brief in this, but she's one of my favorite characters. She is the OG warden, or at least the one that we are aware of.
Yeah, the
And
one before Asar, at
Asar.
least.
Yeah, and she kind of taught Asar what was up, and she's been helping him down here. And he doesn't like anybody other than Lucy, and he even pretends like he just tolerates Lucy. But he clearly likes Esma.
He loves Lucy and loves Esme deeply.
Yes.
Esme feels like, she feels like a mother to him.
Yeah.
But not in a overly gooey warm, but in a yeah, I taught you how to be in the world. I taught you how to do this.
Yeah.
And
that's what he needs.
Yeah, what a nice surprise that you have come.
It's like this. So you've listened to everything that we've been through just in Psyche. So to have this moment and this
Breathe.
Yes, and these are so necessary here. I didn't know the first time reading how we were going to get through all of this unless there were breaks. And how do we find and create these safe spots, which I thought was very clever and well done. They are so necessary.
Yeah.
Because it is, we still have one more section to go through. Look how heavy the ish has been so far. It's emotional. It gets to you, good and bad. So you need this moment to basically gather yourself. So for the ebb and flow to start again. And then you're ready for the next mountain we have to climb together.
Oh my God. Secrets is intense. But this moment in Esme's cottage, this is what, you'll hear in almost, I think, every single episode we have recorded this year, we have talked about this moment because they have eaten food, real enough food.
It tastes
real
great,
enough,
but it doesn't do anything. It just tastes good.
Anything.
Feels good.
She gets a fake bath.
Yeah.
That one really set me. And they have this romantic moment. Esme has gone to bed and he is playing the piano downstairs and he's playing music. And there have been these little hints along the way that he plays instruments and he is musically inclined, but we have not heard him play any music yet. And so this is the first moment and they are starting to actually let each other in, and we have seen those memories and we're getting closer, and he plays songs she recognizes to begin, and then he plays a song she doesn't recognize. She goes, that one's so beautiful, wow, I've never heard that before. And I just played the notes that sounded like you.
Good. It's so good out of context. In context, it's roll around on the floor with your feet in the air,
kicking my feet in the air.
It is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It is the most romantic thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yes. Could you say how you feel any better than that? Oh my God, no.
Can you say, see you?
Yes.
Home, literally on the spot, improvised musical scores, and I just played the notes that sounded like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where we cross the line where he is no longer just stoic Asar. This is that full page turn where he is no longer just the stoic warden anymore. He is a fully fledged, multi-dimensional person with feelings. He has feelings.
We've only seen of him up to this point what Misha has. Now we've seen parts of him and we know who he is, but now he's showing us too because the walls are down. And Esme actually warns Misha, if you let him in, he's coming for you and there's no going back.
He's not letting you go.
Yeah, this is how he is. And you hear that and it's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
To see it is another. In my audible notes, because I love that I can put these in here now, my response to this is, after this moment, Asar is now a full-grown ass man.
Yes.
He is. It's like Morgan said. He is not just like this guy who's stoic, whatever. He is a real fucking man. And everything that comes out of his mouth after this scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, like makes me giggle, like truly swoony. Like this is
Swoony. Yeah, I
the
swooned. Me swooning.
like
100%.
makes me want to faint.
Yeah, I wish I could. I
It's
need to.
incredible. It's so incredible. We talked a lot in our coverage of the Nightborn duet that Rain is like the deepest green flag you've ever seen. And he is. This is true. Asar has a few more multicolored flags in there.
Yep.
Until this moment. And you
Yep.
go, I just couldn't see all your flags. They were green the whole time. And again, getting the recognition that really they're the same person. They just present in completely opposite ways. Was just like, oh, they are perfect for each other. Oh my God.
I have such a thing too, and it is one of my favorites with character types. When you make two people that are as guarded, broken, hurt, and you make them come together and then heal together, those are my favorite friendships. Those are my favorite romances in the whole world. There is something so profoundly beautiful and hopeful about that. Like they are in the darkest place in the whole world. And both of them, martyrs prepared to die at any time for their cause. And here they have found this beautiful connection between each other. And the mirrors of the Nightborn duet are now alive here in Songbird also, where, hello, we are the same.
It's really good shit. And I think on like a really surface level, you could describe this as a Grumpy Sunshine trope. On the surface, skimming of the surface. It's just so much deeper than that.
So much more.
It's so much better than that.
It's profound. It really is.
Yeah. And of course, anything good in the underworld doesn't last very long, unfortunately. So moments after this happens, like literal seconds after this happens, the cottage explodes.
Yes, like explodes. She's blowing up your cottage.
And I think this is the first time we get a Malak.
Yes, that son of a bitch. Yeah, in actual wraith form. Yeah.
And interestingly, he's not there to haunt Mische.
Nope.
He's there to haunt Asar.
Well, apparently well, look at everything he did while he was alive to destroy his brother.
True.
That was such a clearly an important part of his existence, was making sure that Asar was miserable and unhappy.
Yeah.
And anything he loved was taken from him. So to want to come back and haunt him and punish him even more makes total sense to me.
So they escape this.
But they are injured. Yeah, they are quite hurt.
Mische feels like she is violating her oath to be a bride of the sun. Like her final wall is that she has never drunk from a living being as a vampire. She has drank from dead or dying animals. She'll drink blood provided to her in a glass or something, but she will not drink it from another living being. Even if that living being is consenting, she doesn't care. Like that is just the line in her sand that she has drawn. And it truly is sand, man. Like it's thin. But this is the moment where she is like, she's losing consciousness. She is dying as they stumble into the Sanctum of Secrets. And she has to drink from him. And so she says 5 drinks. And he says 10. The sin doesn't start kicking in until 11.
He figured her out. He does it in a funny way, but he also gives her an out because she would rather die than betray her beliefs, even though she has a little here and a little there. But this one, it's like Morgan said, this one is a big one for her. She's been a vampire for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
She has managed to go a very, very long time without doing this. And we will find out why she's even more against it by the end of this one.
So she does drink. She does take her 10 drinks, 10 gulps. And they are very clearly starting to experience like deep pleasure from each other in this. Yep. And she barely has the control to stop at 10, but she does. And he respects it. And it is so beautiful. She then says, okay, your turn. And he drinks from her.
Well, the blood drinking is so hot.
It's so hot.
So hot.
I don't understand it.
So I know we talked about this in the Nightborn duet too, and I know that we like kind of got into like the primal side of it, the exchanging, the vulnerability, and all of that, and I absolutely believe that too. Also, too, like they say, when you're drinking the vampire's blood or you're doing whatever, they send whatever feelings it is, so you feel sensual, you're relaxed, or whatever it is. But when you're both want each other already, like Aurea and Rain did, and now like Asar and Misha do, and theirs is repressed. Hers in particular.
Oh, yeah, for like the majority of her life, even.
Yeah.
Not just like, her adult life. No, like
No,
her whole
whole
life.
life. So this is a moment of her letting go.
Mhm.
Letting go of all of that. She put her beliefs aside to save herself, and then she offered herself to him. Like Morgan said, that was the big moment there. She wasn't just trying to save herself. She's like, no, I got to save you too. All of that together, and then the heightened sexual tension and desire mixing is so unbearably hot.
Mhm.
It's like peel your clothes off and swing them around your head because they are wet and need to dry hot.
And that, like, on the brink of death, I mean, we talked about this a little, the, like, trope of, like, what would you do if it was your last night on Earth or your last night alive kind of thing. Of course, you would want to bone the people that you love. This is almost that, but it's truly the, like, if we don't do this, we will both die and we will not survive this, and we need to. Not just for the mission, but because we both want to live. And so it adds to the tension of that. The, like, no, truly, you will die if you do not.
It's being pragmatic. It's necessary.
Well, and that's one of the ways she justifies it to herself is, I have to do this. I will die. And my God has told me I must complete this mission.
And I'll sacrifice myself.
In so many ways. Mische and Asar takes the concept of self-sacrifice to a whole new fucking level.
Yep.
She will sacrifice her belief. She will sacrifice her soul. She will sacrifice herself, her bubbliness, her warmth, her joy. There is no part of her she won't sacrifice.
No, she is the master giver.
Which I think that's even a line that Asar says of when she's drinking from him, of how beautiful you look taking.
Yes.
And it doesn't even land with her. She goes,
no.
What? I've always been a giver.
Yeah.
I think she even says, I'm a giver.
She does. Right. You're right.
And he, no, you look so beautiful taking. And I was like, oh, a man who sees you, girlfriend.
Yeah. And
sees
wants
every little crease and crevice.
and clearly would like to give you more. Yeah.
Okay. So we get to the other side of this beautiful, beautiful scene. They fall asleep in each other's arms. Lucy is protecting them. And they go into secrets. And I fucking thought this was so cool.
It was.
Secrets feels like Psyche on crack.
Yep. Perfect.
So not only do they walk into this sanctum and they enter it to find the temple, to find the relic, and the sanctum is showing them two different things.
Yeah, they're both seeing, and how they realize that they are both seeing different things is so cool too. Because she starts describing it. She's seeing like the citadel, right? And he says castle, I think.
Well, so I'm curious your thoughts on this, because it is very clear that he lied to her in that moment.
Oh yeah.
And she knows he lied, but she doesn't push him. So I'm very curious what you think he saw.
It's got to be something dark that hurts him. I don't know, that maybe it's something that we haven't learned yet.
Oh, yeah.
There could be something else that we haven't learned about him yet that he's seeing, and this is a little clue to that too. I'm not really sure, because it would make sense for him to be at the Shadowborn Castle.
Maybe.
He's been through so much that I feel like that there's definitely something else there. I feel like it's something we're going to learn later on.
No, I feel similarly to you, for what it's worth. I don't know what it is, because he gives so little away. He's so reserved. And so does she. He even comments, and this is another beautiful moment where he's like seeing her, and you could tell he really loves her at this moment, because she's not asking as many questions.
Yes, she's quiet.
She's quiet. And he's like, you don't want to know about my second cousin's favorite pet?
God, he's fucking hilarious.
It was a parrot. It even took me aback. I was like, wait, what?
And that's what I'm like, oh, because guys, we are learning who Asar is with Misha. And the more I learn about him, the more I like this guy.
I love him.
I love the way you described him, though, that he seems like he has multicolored flags, but really they're just all green. It's just that we didn't have the light to see them yet because he
Yeah.
just didn't show us who he was.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. The more I learn about Asar, the more I love him so much. My fully grown ass man version of Asar.
Yeah.
Like that kind of humor it's smart. And like you said,
It's witty.
and it's a combination of, hey, I'm gonna make this joke because jokes are what make you comfortable. I see that something's wrong, and I know that just asking you directly is not the way to go about this. So I'm gonna keep this comfortable for you. Also, I'm gonna be funny. Yeah.
I'm
like
gonna be
that's
really, really funny.
yeah, like that is so brilliant and also
Oh,
human. Yeah.
yeah.
So immediately I'm like, oh, I trust you with everything now.
And so when we finally get into the temple, they get in and there are these paintings along the walls depicting her most shameful moments. My God.
Yeah, man. Like Morgan said, this is one big therapy session. It really fucking is. My God. Like one of the things I would say along my personal journey that I learned to like be most comfortable with, ironically, and I think about it while I'm reading this, it is being comfortable with the dark side of me. I call them my demons. I used to hate those things about myself. And now I just realize they're just a part of who I am. And those are things that I need to live with and deal with and acknowledge instead of ignoring and hiding and treating like monsters. This is like that with a microscope.
Yeah. Did you want them blown up in a magnifying way? Like,
Yeah.
and plastered all over the walls to
Yeah.
look at?
No, thank you.
I think there was a little bit of a reprieve in that she knew he couldn't see it because he was seeing something else. Now, it was giving her empathy for him. He's seeing his own version of whatever the fuck this is. But it was, I think, helpful that he couldn't see it.
I mean, those are things that you want to share at your own choosing. Yes, the two of them both clearly need to push. Like the dreams and seeing that was lovely and great. This would be exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Raw, naked, and not in a beautiful way because it would be
No.
non-consenting entirely. Your worst moments highlighted right in front of you.
Right.
And whether they're actually bad or not, because some of them, maybe not. Maybe they're the way you perceive
Some of them
them.
with context are not just like she takes shame from it or he takes shame from it and experiences shame with it. But that doesn't have to be the only way to view what happened, right? There's typically, especially with her, there's more context and there's a really big child groom label on it, you know?
Which is why they need a therapist down there walking them through this shit.
Even as a trauma therapist myself, I think this is a little much.
I was going to say, I don't think he could pay you enough.
No,
I like adventures. This is not one I'd want to go on.
no, thank you.
I'd pass. Good luck,
No
guys.
pass.
I'm so sorry. I'm just going to read it from over here where it's safe.
You go down there. Let me know how it is.
Yeah.
On the way back up. I'm not coming down there with you. Anyways, they are confronted with Ophelia again, because of course she's always there. Seisha shows up, and Seisha is starting to express confusion. Why me? Why did this happen? Why did he betray me? And she's talking about Atroxus.
Well, and this is an interesting part too. So Seisha is a wraith. So why isn't she resting? Why hasn't she passed on? And this is a huge moment. At first, Misha isn't like fully comprehending that because she's dealing with the horror of seeing her sister here. Her sister confused, her sister broken. And why is she here? She doesn't have time to think through all of that just yet. But that glass ceiling that she has been living in with the beliefs that she
shattering.
has. And this is where it truly, truly does for her.
Yeah.
Because if he promised them this and her sister, like, she was so devout and so true, she gave her sister to him and she was willing to give herself. She did everything and still she's here. Haunting her poor sister. And she says to her, she's like, do you know the things I did for you? The things that I had to do for us? I didn't tell you about all of them. You don't need to know all of them. Oh my God. Like Misha doesn't carry enough guilt and everybody else's baggage on top of it. No wonder she's hiding from it.
They have to sort of escape the wraiths and Ophelia to find the relic. And they are basically shocked to find that the box is empty.
Yep.
The relic is not there.
It's a big problem.
It's a big issue because now they've locked themselves in this temple to protect themselves from what's outside. Seisha, Malak, Ophelia. and all the other wraiths and soul eaters and so all the other actual scary stuff as well. And they're like, well, what the fuck? Like, it's not here. Someone has already come and taken it. What do we do? And in their horror and devastation, they decide to turn towards each other.
Which makes so much sense. I mean, it really does. So we talk about underworld sex and things like that. This isn't that.
No.
But it is finding a moment of life when everything around you is falling apart.
Yeah, there's like a desperation to it. Not in a frantic way, but there is a desperation to you are life, I am life. We need to be together while everything else is crumbling so badly around them.
Yep. And this is when I realized Asar is truly a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Because everything that comes out of his mouth, like we talk all the time. Morgan and I both love a man with a filthy mouth. We do. We do.
Sure do.
I have various things that I enjoy men saying and doing. Asar is not like any of them. He is wholly and entirely confident in a way that is completely different. And I just love it. It's like
I'm obsessed with it.
He knows exactly who the fuck he is
And
what
who
it
she
feels like.
is.
And who she is. And he is down for that shit. And then he makes her feel safe enough to do the same. It is so good. I was listening to the audio version last night, and I'm sitting here, I'm playing video games while I'm listening, and I'm like, I paused the game and I just held onto the chair here for a bit because it's that good. This is one of my favorite spicy, romantic, sexy scenes, period, ever. He says he wants to worship her, and they're on a fucking altar.
Altar? Yeah, truly. Grow your horns and let's get filthy. But this is, it's everything, right? The different layers of it. It is pure. It is beautiful. It is loving. It is sweet. It is tender. It is hungry.
Yes.
It is lustful. It is right
sensual.
Sensual.
So sensual.
It is playful, right? There are a few times she gets very impatient with him and he makes her wait, which like truly Asar is just the king of edging, if we're really honest.
Yep. Sign me up. Oh my gosh.
Yes and no. I like reading edging. I don't like experiencing edging. But the way he, again, brings her to the brink and then walks her back down and brings her to the brink, almost taffy, like he stretches the pleasure into this just gorgeous experience for her and for him.
She also doesn't know. She's never experienced this.
And he knows this.
Yes. So she's getting, we don't really know what Atroxus is doing in there, but it doesn't sound like he's doing much. So
like he's kind of in and out kind of guy.
Yeah. Seems like it's pretty fast. Seems like
too crude.
That's that. You said it exactly what I was thinking. So we are here. Yeah, I think he's pretty much all about business, in and out. And so she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to get to whatever, because she had the orgasm when they were drinking blood. She's like, I liked that. Let's do that again.
I liked that. Yeah, exactly.
And she's very enthusiastic. He's like, no. I've been doing this for a bit. I know a thing or two about this, and I'm going to make you enjoy it, and it's going to be about you. And he enjoys it too. But part of the way he's enjoying it is by giving her pleasure.
Exactly.
I do love the playfulness too. That's like,
it's so playful. And the playfulness, I think, adds to the sweetness level of it, where you're like, wow, like he really sees her. He really loves her and cares for her and is able to poke very gently and lovingly at like, no. Unfortunately, again, we're in the underworld. All good things must end and be met with horror and devastation afterwards. During their sex session, we'll call it, blood was exchanged again because it amplified the pleasure of it. It was beautiful. But at the end of the day, they bled on an altar.
Oops.
And so for the first time, it really thinned the veil between what the gods could see was happening on that altar.
I think they made the bitches jealous.
I think so too. And also, it was just one of those moments where you are slapped in the face with Mische has been so careful. She's been so intentional for so long that the moment she finally lets go and releases that hold on what she must be and what she must look like, she actually really fucks it up.
Dude, Is that not like one of the most frustrating things? And think of this from a child's perspective too.
Mhm.
Like you're a good kid and you follow the rules. It was the first fucking time. It's the first fucking time I did it. No, you've been doing this the whole time. No, really, it's the first time I ever did it. That's why I got caught. Yeah, and like that's what I felt when
Mhm.
That's exactly what I was feeling. I'm like, no, it's the first time she got caught.
Yeah, she fucked him on the altar of the sun god. The symbolism of it is perfect.
Yes, it's
It
great.
is perfection, truly. She needed to let that go. It felt like an avalanche of it, really, like it swept her
Yeah,
away.
and that's the other reason why the sex felt so good was because she let go. She let go of
Fully.
all of that completely and totally. She
Mhm.
surrendered. And then she has to pay.
And then she has to pay. So Atroxus comes to visit,
This
and he's
motherfucker.
mad.
I'm so mad at this
She
guy.
goes, I thought the love of a god was powerful and overwhelming and intimidating. And I thought the pain of a god's abandonment was overwhelming and terrifying and scary. But what I didn't know was actually the most scary thing is the wrath of a god.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty profound. When you say things like that too,
Mm.
and that's her inner monologue, then we are not relying on Atroxus to actually say or do anything in particular to elevate his wrath or his anger because we are feeling what she
Feeling
is.
it with her.
Yeah, so we feel it
Yeah.
without having to see it. That is great writing.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, it was kind of perfect that way, right? Like that was where that needed to happen. This is the first visit he has made in, many sanctums. We haven't really seen him since the first one. And yeah, he big mad. Not only did you fuck a vampire, you fucked a vampire and shared his blood on my altar.
He's
He
like,
does.
this is not the only awful thing you've done because you're tainted and you ruined yourself. Like that's one of the things she continues to say that
Mhm.
is so frustrating as a reader. She
Mhm.
continues says, before I went and ruined myself. My girl, first of all, there's no specific, and this is where I will bring this around.
Mm.
She never specifically says what it is that she did that ruined herself.
Mm.
So we are, at least me, I'm reading it going, does she mean her choice, her feelings for the vampire and believing that maybe vampires can be saved also? Her going to Obatrace to try and, spread the word? Was that where she ruined herself? Is she considering that she ruined herself because she became a vampire, even though that was against her will?
Right, she was turned.
Yeah. I think it might be this. I think it might be what she did to her sister.
I hear you. I also viewed it as the coming to terms with what she did to her sister is the final nail in the coffin of her being ruined.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
the many memories we get over the course of these interludes between each part, we get her coming to be a acolyte of the sun god. We get her first experience with a vampire there and the sadness she has for the firefinches that are treated as pests. And these are all the parts of her that we see, the reader see, as her innate goodness, right? She has love
Yes.
for everybody. But from her faith's perspective or from Atroxus's side, these are her flaws. So she befriends the vampire in the cell. She gives him the flowers, and then he is burned, tortured so horrifically in the sun. And she cuts him down, right? This was her final, like, I believe the
mercy.
vampires. Exactly. I believe the vampires are capable of being saved. What happened with Eomen, and then what happened with her sister.
Yeah.
I think that I read that as sort of the final nail in the coffin.
Because so she's turned as a vampire and she's left, like not unlike Rain. They don't necessarily expect you to live. It's not a thing that happens very often or easily. As vampire babies being born is difficult, turning a vampire, what is it, like one in
3, I think.
3? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's painful and it's awful. We got to go through Rains, so we know how traumatic and physically and mentally that it is. So she's gone through all of that and she's confused and lost and hungry. So hungry. And Misha's go-to is to deny that bad things have happened to her when they do. But she's in a state that is not one of control at all. She doesn't really know what's going on. And even if she did, I think she would push it down. And she finds her sister and she drinks from her.
She can't control it.
Nope, she can't stop. And this is why she doesn't drink from anything living ever. because the first thing she did was kill the person that she cared most about on this whole planet, the person that did so much for her and sacrificed her for her and love. She did sacrifice her, actually, but not with bad intentions. This is next level. And this is what that son of a bitch, Atroxus, is like, oh, have you been blocking this out? Is this a memory?
He forces her to see it. He
Yeah.
forces her to see it. And in doing so, he holds his hand to her face and basically like shoves her face in the memory, right? And the whole time his hand is burning her.
Yep. Literally burning her. I fucking hate him so much.
When we read the Nightborn duet, I had a lot of hate and pain for Nyaxia.
Agreed.
Through this and coming to terms with Alarus, I am frustrated and angry with him for making these decisions that led to all of this pain and suffering. Atroxus is such a son of a bitch.
We've met 4 of the gods so far, and he is easily the fucking worst. And what a petulant little bitch, too. You know what I mean? The response is horrible, but it's also a very childish reaction.
It's really immature.
Yeah. You're my toy, and only I get to play with you. And if you don't,
you are tainted. You are ruined.
You're a broken
by
toy.
These things you had no control over.
And he knows that. It has nothing to do with anything else other than possessiveness and her thinking for herself. That's it.
Right.
Oh my God. It's awful. And I forgot it happened right after that beautiful moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, I think it's again that mirror of light and dark moments. The only good thing that Atroxus does in this moment is he tells her where the relic is.
Yeah.
He shares with her the relic. We also are led to assume, so she and Asar are reunited after this experience with Atroxus. And it becomes very clear that he was also visited by, likely, Nyaxia.
Probably, yeah.
Again, the veils between the gods were able to see a little more clearly than normal because they fucked on this altar and spilled blood. So funny.
I know.
And he says, no, again, secrets is all about shame. So these memories, but also shame. And so Alarus hid this relic underneath, right? You were led to believe it had been stolen. That is not true. You have to look underneath. And they find an incredibly magical golden arrow. And I'm not going to lie, I cried when they discovered this arrow. Because it is Alarus's deepest shame that he wasn't sure. He was tasked by the rest of the White Pantheon gods to kill her, to kill Nyaxia with this god killer arrow. And he doesn't get rid of it. He didn't go through with it, obviously, but he kept it. And that is his deepest shame. And I will admit, that really wrecked me. Alarus is the god of death. Not being able, for the good of the world, for the good of all of his people, for the good of everybody, truly, maybe, to be able to go through with a death. Or to even decide yes or no.
For the good of the many, one must be sacrificed. But that one happens to be the one thing that matters to me in this world. Yeah, and that symbolism there, too. I mean, look, we don't know what Asar's choices are now. I think we get Asar's point of view in the next book. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't read it yet. I want to wait until I'm done with this reread.
Same.
Yep. I'm doing so much self-control here. We're doing great. It's a good thing there's lots of books to read. I wonder if he has something like that, too, that he's dealing with. Because Mische, that's what she's dealing with right now. She has to make the choice of, at the end of this, she's going to have to decide, am I going to side with Asar and go to the dark with the shadow, or am I going to do what Atroxus has asked me to do? So,
which, leaves us some pretty intense stuff to cover in part 6 and 7.
Oh my God, yeah. There is
Soul
so
and death.
much in this book, like every page.
Okay. So speaking of with darkness comes light and with lightness comes dark, I'm wondering, who are your top 3 favorite fantasy animal characters of all times?
It's so hard to do. My God. This was definitely one of the hardest. So my number 3 is from Crescent City. Take a guess. Go ahead. Tell me who you think it is, Morgan.
It's Syrinx.
Yes, it is. It's Syrinx. I love Syrinx so much. Okay, I love when you have a creature that is literally, he's there for the comfort of Bryce, and she needs that. She's so alone, and it's the one bit of comfort and safety that she has. And so when Hunt Athalar comes and stays with her, and those two start, you trust your animals. Like, trust the cat, like we talked about. Trust the cat. Trust the chimera. All right. Number 2. My number 2 is Shadowfax from Lord of the Rings, the most beautiful, majestic horse of all time. Show me the meaning of hate, Shadowfax. And nothing happens to Shadowfax, just so everyone knows.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yes. And my number one favorite is Ghost from Game of Thrones. Ghost is
The
great.
dire wolf.
Yep. Ghost is great on the TV show, everyone, but he is even better in the books. I love him so much. I need an albino dire wolf. That's all I know. That's it. All right.
That's really good. Those are really good.
Give it to me, Morgan.
Okay. The qualifier we made for these fantasy animals was that this list is non-sentient,
Yes.
non-talking
Yes.
beings.
Otherwise, this would have been really hard.
It would have been too long. It would have been too much. And that's a different category. The dragons of fourth ring go somewhere else. So I had Syrinx, number 3, Crescent City, Sarah J. Maas. Number 2, I had Onyx, Quicksilver, Callie Hart.
Just rereading that too. I love that fucking fox so much.
I love that cute little fox. He's so sweet.
He's on my
And
honorable
fluffy.
mentions.
I love it. And then number 1, Fleetfoot, Throne of Glass.
Yes!
Sarah J. Maas.
Fleetfoot was also on my honorable mentions.
Fleetfoot is so good. He's so sweet. The love that Aelin comes to have for Fleetfoot is so pure. It's just like these animals are truly, sometimes they're comedic relief, but most of the time they're comfort, like you were saying with Syrinx. They're a way to trust a character. They're a way to trust the development, but they're also a comfort thing, like first and foremost.
And if you see like a really strong character that doesn't show outwardly their vulnerabilities or their emotions, it's a really beautiful way for them to, with the animals, where they can be safe.
Yeah.
And I love
absolutely. Okay, who were your honorable mentions? I have 3.
All right. Definitely Fleetfoot, definitely Onyx were on there. Also, Sophocles, who is a cloned fox in the Red Rising series. I love Sophocles. There's no reason. Yeah, there is no reason for this fox to have as much page action as it does, but it has become a thing, and I fucking love it.
Nice.
Lucy. I love Lucy. I do, but I do.
I do love Lucy.
Yep. Buckbeak from Harry Potter.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was a fun one. And I can't say the damn name of this. It's Faragway. It's a unicorn in Lady of the Lake. This is another Witcher series thing, but this unicorn is what eventually ends up saving her when she gets transported to another world. And also Nymeria, another direwolf, Arya's direwolf from Game of Thrones. Nymeria is great in that story too. All right, what are yours?
Okay. My first honorable mention is Shadow, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Heather Fawcett. Shadow is just so sweet. I love her relationship with Emily. It's just wonderful. Shadow is the best. I then have Neville on Wings of Blood, Friar Boleyn. Talk about another, I forget what he's called especially, but he's like sort of a fox.
Yeah.
Like a fox and a dog mix kind
Which
of thing.
they consider like vermin almost there.
But it's like the cutest, fluffiest little thing.
So adorable.
I loved it. I'm going to say this one, and I want to be clear, it's not a spoiler, but I won't be talking about it anymore other than telling you the character. But Broccoli from Onyx Storm, Rebecca Yarros. That's all I will say. And then last but not least, of course, I have Hedwig from Harry Potter. Hedwig is that first fantasy animal I fell in love with. Even though the author is she who must not be named, Hedwig is just such a beautiful, loving, and like a beautiful way for Harry to grow over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What are you reading right now?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I'm all down for like just getting emotionally destroyed, clearly. That's like my November and December plan is just to get completely wrecked. So I am going to be reading The Wrath of the Fallen. This is the 4th book, you guys. Yeah, I finally got here.
Final?
I don't know if it's a final yet. I've been actively avoiding trying to find anything out.
That's fair. Sometimes that is necessary.
Yeah. This story keeps growing and growing. The world keeps expanding. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of action. There's a lot of great, quick dialogue, but the world building is like, it's cool as hell, and it's very different too. And there's a mix. Cool. Yeah, there's a mix of like old fantasy stuff that you'd pull up from, 80 years ago, mix that with modern day worlds, and they overlap. Yeah, it's crazy fun. But the emotional damage that you suffer in these, they hurt. Yeah. They hurt. Yeah. All right, what you reading?
You and I are having very different November and Decembers, just to be clear. Because I'm in a place in my light where I need light I need sweet, I need cozy fantasy, I need to not think that hard, but I have fully fallen down the Evie Woods rabbit hole. So I have read The Story Collector. Shit, what's the other one called? Oh, The Lost Library, I think, something like that. And they are just so sweet. So I am picking up the third one. They're not related, but they're very similar energies. It's The Mysterious Baker on Rue de Paris by Evie Woods. And it's just, she does a little bit of a time element in every single one. They're very cozy. They're very sweet. They are emotional, of course, as all of these fantasies are, but they're not like gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. I needed light.
Oh, it's the holidays. Go light if you can.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's the Hallmark
I've had
season.
enough heartbreak with Songbird and Carissa Broadbent. I needed to shift distinctly the other way, but probably in 2026, I'll get back on my emotional devastation train. So we will be back next time. I'm so excited for this. Our buddy read of Quicksilver by Callie Hart.
That's been our show. Stay filthy. Your hosts, producers, and audio sources are Heather Baxendale and Morgan DeRocher, who somehow make this show happen with a combination of enthusiasm and emotional damage. Our theme music is Magistar by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. You can find A Pot of Wings and Filth on all major streaming platforms, and our home base is at Podomatic. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at A Pot of Wings and Filth for updates and fun content. And don't forget to check out the show notes for important links. And sometimes on Spotify, there might even be quizzes. If you're loving the pod, please give us a follow or drop a rating. Your support keeps the magic alive and helps other romantasy readers find us.